Hey, how's it going? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Gabby and welcome to my strange little YouTube channel. Hey. I have not made a video in over a month. That's not the track I want to be on with my channel. I've just had a lot going on lately. I promise it wasn't out of laziness. I have been having a lot of trouble with my camera. That's basically the main reason I haven't been filming videos. My camera has been basically crapping out on me, so fingers crossed that it records long enough for me to do this video. Camera problems are definitely a roadblock when you use a camera to make videos. Today's video though I'm super excited for because it's a video that I've had planned for quite a while now, and it's been requested so many times, and that is a video about Jayne Mansfield. I am super excited to get to this because Jayne Mansfield is one of my favorites from old Hollywood, and I didn't really have to do much research for this video because I know quite a bit about her already. Now, most of you who requested for me to do a video about Jayne Mansfield wanted me to do a conspiracy theory surrounding her death type of video, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that ever for one main reason, and you're probably confused because I've done a conspiracy theory surrounding the death of Natalie Wood and Marilyn Monroe, but the conspiracy theories surrounding their deaths don't really put them in a bad light, if you know what I mean. The conspiracy theories surrounding Jayne Mansfield don't really put her in the best light. They don't make her look good. They're mostly just a bunch of speculation and gossip, and out of respect for her and her family, I'm not going to ever be doing that video. I hope you guys understand. But I was researching a little bit and I found some interesting ghost stories surrounding Miss Mansfield. So with that being said, let's just get into it. Jayne Mansfield was born Vera Jane Palmer on April 19th, 1933 in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, to parents Herbert William Palmer and Vera Palmer. She spent most of her early childhood living in Phillipsburg, New Jersey, and then in 1936 her father sadly passed away due to a heart attack. And then in 1939, her mother remarried and they moved to Dallas, Texas. Growing up, Jayne absolutely loved the movies and she idolized many actors and actresses, but out of everybody, she definitely idolized Shirley Temple the most. She took dance lessons, she learned how to play piano, the violin, she learned how to speak multiple other languages, including German and Spanish, and she got very good grades in school. At the age of 17, on May 10th, 1950, she married a man named Paul Mansfield and had her first daughter, Janie Marie Mansfield, about 6 months later. For the next few years, she moved around quite a lot in Texas, and in 1954, she moved to Los Angeles, and then she moved back to Texas. But during this entire time, she was working constantly. She was trying to build a career for herself. She entered a lot of beauty pageants, won a lot of them. She entered theater, and she even performed on Broadway. Jayne's first movie role was a supporting role in a low-budget drama called Female Jungle in 1954. In February of 1955, Jayne was the Playboy of the Month and was featured in Playboy magazine. This feature in Playboy is kind of what launched Jayne's career even more. Everybody was just completely fascinated by her and wondering who this beautiful blonde bombshell was. In August of 1956, Paul was trying to get custody of their daughter, claiming that Jayne was an unfit mother because she modeled for Playboy, and they finalized their divorce in 1958. In the mid-1950s, her career was really taking off and she landed her first major role as a lead character in the film The Girl Can't Help It. This film was one of 1956's biggest movie successes. Going on to star in other popular films such as Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter, Kiss Them For Me, and The Sheriff of Fractured Jaw. On January 13th, 1958, she married former Mr. Universe, Mickey Hargitay, and they had 3 children together, Miklos, Zoltan, and Mariska. Many of you are probably a little bit familiar with Mariska Hargitay. She is an actress herself. She stars as Olivia Benson on Law & Order SVU. Now in 1957, shortly before marrying Mickey, Jayne bought a house that was called the Pink Palace. Mickey had a little bit of a background in construction, so he made sure that this house was exactly what Jayne wanted. It was painted pink, had mirrors everywhere, a beautiful office, a huge JM carved into the iron gates, a lavish living room, a heart-shaped tub, and a heart-shaped swimming pool with "I love you, Janie" painted on the bottom of it. I mean, they went all out with this house. It was basically Jayne Mansfield in a house. Like, this was everything she was, everything she embodied, everything she liked, all wrapped up in cement and windows and tile, and like, this was her baby, this was her everything. She absolutely loved her home, and it was her little private getaway, but she didn't care that people knew where she lived. She would come out every day on her balcony and greet fans, and she would come down and sign autographs. When it comes to Jayne and Mickey, they were very in love with each other when they first met and into their marriage, of course, but things went south and there was a lot of problems, mostly because of Jayne. She admitted that. She even went on television to apologize years later, but they divorced in 1964, and in my opinion, when you watch interviews of Mickey years after she passed away, you can tell that he loved her until the day that he passed away himself. Like, she was the love of his life. In that same year of 1964, Jayne went on to marry an Italian-American film producer named Matt Cimber. They went on to have a child of their own named Antonio, and they divorced in 1966. Over the next few years, Jayne's career completely fizzled out. She was doing pretty much anything she could to stay in the limelight. She had a lot of publicity stunts. She was another person who was basically completely destroyed by fame. She was starring in a lot of burlesque shows and trying to tour in other countries, and she just went down a really bad path, and she was turning to alcohol and pain pills to try to numb the pain. In July of 1966, she was living with her attorney and boyfriend, a married man named Sam Brody. Now, Sam Brody is a main character in the life of Jayne Mansfield. He was married, and his wife knew that Jayne and him were having an affair, and his wife was basically like, he cheats on me with like 50 other people. It's not that big of a surprise. He was just not a good person, if I'm going to be completely honest. He was very abusive to Jayne, and he was very abusive to her oldest daughter, Janie Marie. He kind of pushed her into even more of a downward spiral, if that makes sense. I'm not completely blaming him, but he definitely did not help the situation. On June 28th, 1967, after 2 appearances at the Gus Stevens Supper Club in Biloxi, Mississippi, Jayne, Sam, their driver Ronnie Harrison, 20 years old, and Janie's 3 children, Miklos, Zoltan, and Mariska, were driving to their next destination in New Orleans, Louisiana. At about 2:25 a.m. on June 29th, their Buick crashed full speed into the back of a tractor trailer that was in front of them that they couldn't see through the fog. The 3 adults in the front seat all passed away, and the 3 children in the back all survived. Jayne Mansfield was buried at Fairview Cemetery in Pennsylvania, and her gravestone bears the words, "We live to love you more each day." Mickey was the only one of her ex-husbands to show up to the funeral. Now, many people think that since Jayne passed away in such a tragic and unexpected way, that her soul may not be at rest. She really did die yearning for more success and for more fame, and possibly she felt like she still had more to do on this earth. It has been theorized by many believers in the paranormal that if a person passes away and their soul possibly feels like they have more to do on this earth, that they may return to a place that they were most happiest while they were alive. And for Jayne, that was definitely her pink palace. As Mickey said after she passed away, the pink palace died when she did. A lot of people who owned the house after Jayne had basically just bad luck. Some of them passed away in fatal car crashes themselves, or just passed away in strange circumstances nonetheless. It just brought a lot of negative energy into people's lives. The public was still very fascinated by this home, but really nobody wanted anything to do with it. Like, nobody wanted to buy it because of the rumors surrounding it. Early on, one owner of the home, a woman, was going through some of the stuff in the home and came across some of Jayne's clothing. Jayne's clothing was absolutely beautiful. It was so over the top, and you would of course feel like a complete movie star in them. So she decided to try them on. These clothes did not fit the woman though. Jayne was quite tall. She was about 5'7". She was very curvy, so most people wouldn't have fit her clothes, so she decided to have them altered. This woman became completely fascinated by Jayne and her life. She even dyed her hair platinum blonde and started collecting a bunch of Jayne Mansfield memorabilia. She says that she was at home in the house one night alone, just going through her nightly routine, and she heard a woman's voice that she says sounded just like Jayne Mansfield's tell her to get out. So she did. A popular owner of the house was actually Ringo Starr of the Beatles. He had met Jayne a few times before they had hung out, and he was quite fond of her as a person, so he decided to buy her house after she passed away. One of the first things that he decided to do with his new home was to paint over the iconic pink paint. You can't really get mad at him. He didn't want a pink house. He was still going to keep a lot of the character in it, but he just wanted to paint over the pink paint. No matter how many times he painted over the pink paint, no matter how many coats, he was using a very good paint that was very thick, it would not cover up the pink paint. The pink paint kept mysteriously seeping back through. In 1976, English pop singer Engelbert Humperdinck bought the home. Engelbert was a huge fan of Jayne's. He actually met her 2 weeks before she passed away in London, and she invited him to her home, but she passed away before he could come visit. But he felt that fate wanted him to buy her house. He restored the home to its original pink splendor because he said that Jayne would have wanted him to. After restoring life back into the home, he felt that Jayne was around. He said that he felt her presence. He felt like she was there quite often, and he said that he knew for sure that it was her because he would smell her favorite rose petal perfume. He would have no other woman in the house, nobody else in the house in general, and he would smell this famous perfume that she loved to wear while she was still alive. One night though, he claims that he actually saw the spirit of Jayne Mansfield. Once I saw a figure in a long black dress in front of me. It was Jayne, but it wasn't frightening. I was about to say, "Hello, Jayne," when I realized she was dead. I didn't say anything, and she faded out. The singer coexisted with the spirit for quite a few years, and then in 1980 he got the home blessed by a priest, and he said that after he got it blessed, the hauntings stopped and that he figured that her spirit was now at peace. In 2002, Engelbert put the home on the market, and he was promised by the new owners that they were going to preserve it and everything was going to be fine, and that it was such a historic home that they would never touch it. But within a month of selling it, he got the news that they were having it demolished. Jayne Mansfield's children were allowed to take anything they wanted from the home, one being a copper hood over a fireplace in the pool house that Mickey made for Jayne.
I can't remember exactly what I put on there, but I believe that my love is inflamed for you forever.
By the end of 2002, the iconic home was completely demolished and added to the list of other old Hollywood homes that we have lost. In 2013, Mariska Hargitay got her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and it is right next to her mother's. So I hope that you guys enjoyed those little ghost stories about a very popular actress from the 1950s and 1960s. She's definitely one of my personal favorites from old Hollywood. If you want to learn more about her without the lies and inconsistencies and gossip and drama, one of my favorite books about her is Affectionately, Jayne Mansfield by Richard Cooper. This is a great book. It goes into an entire backstory about her and then her films, and it has a lot of pictures. It is a perfect biography, and it's one of the few that I actually trust to recommend to other people, so definitely check that out if you want to learn more about her. Leave any more video ideas down below in the comments, any more ghost stories surrounding celebrities or anything in general that you want me to talk about on my channel. Definitely leave that below in the comments. I read every single comment. And don't forget to subscribe if you did like that video, and all my social media will be linked down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.
I think everyone should live like he wants to live, and no matter how small it is or how big it is.
Much too much.
Because the lady's much too hot to handle. The lady is much
Much too hot.
too hot to handle.